Percy King speak. All right, this is a good one today. This one's about weight loss, especially weight loss if you are getting up there in age, if you have any injuries or you've had injuries from an accident. I'm all of the above. Now, a lot of people don't necessarily know how old I am unless you know me. I'm 55, and a couple things actually happened to me as I got up in age because I used to play basketball and other sports. Um, End up with stage 3 osteoarthritis in my left knee. Got to the point back in like 2020 during COVID that I could like barely walk. Between that and the fact that I was actually assistant federal defender, I gained a fair amount of weight because of the things I was dealing with. I'd gotten up to 250 pounds. Now, I was always skinny growing up. When I graduated high school, probably was about an inch and a half shorter. I'm 6'3" now, but I was about an inch and a half shorter. But I was like 130 pounds through college, 150, 160 maximum. Got up in weight as I got a little bit older, had a few bouts when I lived in Vegas. All those damn buffets got, big. Was able to lose it. But as you get older, not so easy. And then, as I got up to 250, left the federal court, went back into private practice. But May of 2023, sitting at the stoplight, got rear-ended by a girl going about 35, 40 miles an hour. Popped my SUV up. A Lexus SUV saved me though. But I had 7 herniated discs. I had a trial the next day. I practiced personal injury. Lucky the trial, we settled at about 11 o'clock that day. Ended up being able to go to the pain management doctor who was going to be a witness for me because he had shut down his office for the afternoon to be a witness. And we didn't need him, so I ended up going there. Got 7 injections that day. Okay, because my herniations, all 3 levels. Cervical, thoracic, and lumbar. 7 of them, like I said. Within a few weeks, I got my first ablation. I got ablations, all 3 levels. It took a while, but after a few months, got to the point where I could walk around again. But because I couldn't really do very much, and I couldn't even like sit in the seat for a long period of time, I ended up having to get a motorized desk that lifts up and stuff, so I could actually do any work at all. But after a couple months after the ablations, feeling a little bit better, so I could start walking again. But before that happened, I was 284. I didn't even want to get on the scale. I think I got above that, but I hopped on the scale. I saw it going above that, and I jumped off. I didn't want to see it. You know how it is when you get so big. I was always, thin most of my life. Then I got that damn big, but I still didn't even recognize how big I was. What happened was that I was actually walking downtown St. Pete. If you're from the area, there's a building that actually has, kind of mirrored glass. I'm walking in the daytime, and out the corner of my eye, I see this dude like following me. So I'm like looking at him to the side eye, and then I'm like start walking a little bit faster, and then I looked over and realized it was my big ass. I had no idea I was that damn big. I was walking like Fat Albert like this. Had no idea I was like Fat Albert. I'm walking around like had no damn idea I was that big. You talking about how that hit me? I walked over and I looked at myself in the glass. Had no idea I was that damn big because it didn't look like me. I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, who is this mother? I swear I thought a Negro was following me. I was like, what the hell does brother want? Why he following me? It was me. I went home that night. I got online and made a call and left a message to one of those weight loss clinics that did the semaglutide. Like I said, this was 2 years ago. I was there that next day. They had me taking tests. Now you can get the stuff, online easy, the injections, all the different stuff like that. But I still suggest that if you can afford to, go to one of those centers first, even if you only go for a couple months, so you can get the lab work done. They can make sure that you really should be doing this, and then they'll step you up. Okay, because if you try to start off with too much of this stuff, you may end up getting nauseous and it'd be a bad experience. You don't want that. Now, I'm fortunate that I only had one little bout of that, and it really wasn't because of what, the semaglutide that I was taking initially. It was some of the other stuff I was taking with it. Now, the clinic I went to, they actually started off that first week. They gave you some, a week's worth of pills that help you, clean you out. So I lost like 10 pounds that first week. I was with them for a while, and then I stopped, and then I started back again. But when I started back again, it was tirzepatide. Now, here's kind of the process that I went through, so you can know like what you can do if you're older, if you have injuries, whatever, because there's not a lot of things that you can do. You can't really exercise. Once you get to the point where, doctor has you so that you can start walking and stuff again, I start walking. And I would try to walk 4 to 5 days a week. The amount of walking I did kind of changed. Now, I can also tell you that the semaglutide is going to make it so that you end up getting to eat. I mean, it would be all day, and I've forgotten to eat. One of the things that they explained to me that I spent years in medicine. I know that if you don't have the right amount of protein intake, you end up losing mostly muscle, and you don't want to do that because they'll have you walking around here skinny fat. I don't know if you've seen somebody skinny fat. When they take their clothes off, you're like, ooh, ooh, make an ugly face because fat funny. Fat would be over here. You'll have lumps and bumps. You have no idea when you take your clothes off, you look gross. So you don't want to do that. So you want to make sure you have the right amount of protein. Also, it will help you not be sick. Now, I'm going to tell you the way I did it. You don't have to go to Walmart. You don't have to do it via Amazon. But you can go to Walmart even if you just want to look to see, because I did two things. All right. Protein drinks. There's a bunch of different brands. If you want to send me a message, I can kind of tell you some of the things that I got as far as those brands. I normally got the ones that were either 25 grams of protein or 30. Most of them were the ones that were 30, and they were only like 140 to 150 calories a piece. So if you have 2 or 3 of those things in a day, they actually keep you satisfied, and there's not a lot of calories. Now, the other things that I did was I had bars. Not meal replacement bars. These were bars that were protein bars that had higher grams of protein, either 18 or 20. Now, let me show you some of those. You don't have to get these, but this is just what I use. This one, pure protein, 20 grams. Okay. Now, when you look at these, 200 calories. Okay. This one I started more recently, Crunch. Okay. 18 grams of protein, actually 16. And this one is a strawberry strudel. Pretty damn good. Okay. Like I said, you don't have to have these, but these are some of the ones. So basically, those would help you to have the amount of protein that you need. So like if you had 3 of the protein drinks and 2 of the protein bars, 90 plus, 36. I mean, you're talking 100 and something grams of protein just from having those few things, and it's under 1,000 calories. So you have that with the one meal you're probably going to eat, or the 2 tiny little meals that you're probably going to eat, and you're still going to lose a bunch of weight. Now, here's what I did. Once I started being able to walk, I kept doing the walking. And once I finally, went to the pain management doctor, and he said, oh, well, you're getting better to the point where you can actually start doing some stuff. You can start doing some really light lifting. I actually went to the gym. In this case, I went to Crunch. I got a trainer. Told the trainer all of my limitations, all those different things, and said, look, I'm going to come to you once a week. Went to him once a week. Actually, ended up changing to a different one because one changed gyms. But I had a trainer for like 7 months. Saw them once a week, but I had them give me 5 days worth of workouts. The way that I did mine, because it's the way I like to do them, is that 3 days were full body workouts. 1 day, which is the 4th day, which is, I changed it around, was the upper body, and then I had 1 day that was lower body. So 3 full body workouts, and then an upper and a lower body, which was my 5 days. Okay, really, really lightweight, especially the starting. It took a while before I could, and I still don't lift anything super heavy. Not like the strength I used to have, because I don't even try. I'm not trying to get hurt. Make sure that you don't try to hurt yourself. Okay, but just putting that in there, lots of reps, that helped an awful lot. And then about 4 or 5 months into the trainer, I got a stretch coach. This is a big thing now. I don't know if you have them where you are, but we have them here in Florida. I know they have them in other states as well, where you can go and they'll stretch you out for about 30 minutes on the table. And it helped an awful lot. So you're talking about it helped with my injury. It helped to stretch me out. It helped me from, the lift the weights. So after a while, I can tell you that as of right now, I am 193, 91 pounds down. Look so much more like myself, feel so much better. I can feel the weight off me. But sometimes you need that. You need that push that will help you to do it. You know, the things I eat are very different. And I could even tell you about tons of recipes and things that I actually have. I'll have more videos about some of the things that I'm doing in order to kind of, stay looking like I am and actually, even get a little bit smaller. Eventually, I'll probably, level out at around this weight, but after I lose just a little bit more fat and gain a little bit more muscle. So I'll still be somewhere around this weight because I just feel better this way. So like I said, like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll have many more videos about, this journey that I've had to take. So if you look at some of the older videos, you'll see bigger, face fuller, whatever. But sometimes it just takes that moment for you just to decide that you're actually going to do it. So I'll talk to you soon. Good luck to you.